Warning, the Renegade Recruiter is not for the soft, timid, or faint-hearted. If you need permission or seek approval from your mother, spouse, mates in the pub, or anyone else for that matter, this really isn't for you. If any of what you've heard puts you off in the slightest, I advise you not to listen any further. You've been warned. Prepare yourself for the no bullshit, zero fluff. Quick, dirty, and uncensored secrets for any serious recruitment, staffing, and search business owner who wants to earn more money with less work and fewer headaches, without having to kiss ass or bend over backwards to please anyone. He's a relentless and fearless renegade who will stop at nothing to reveal the harsh, unforgiving, and brutal truth about what it really takes to succeed in this business. He's a guy people love to hate and hate to love. It's your host, Terry Edwards. The Renegade Recruiter is unleashed.
Hello, and welcome to this week's podcast. And of course, this is Terry Edwards, Renegade Recruiter, and we're joined by our co-host, Drew. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, just to recap on what we covered last week, what we looked at last week, and we talked about the persuasion, influence, and sales recipe that the top recruitment and search firms use. And we defined what selling is. And, you know, whatever you want to call it, it is really a fair exchange. You do something and your client pays you for doing it. We also talked about what it is not. And the thing that, you know, Drew and I feel very strongly about is these recruiters and search firms who work on contingency. And these are industry averages. I know it may vary for you, but the average contingency recruiter will fill about 30% of the roles that they work on, 20 to 30%. You may be as high as 40%. You may be as high as 60%. But if you're at the industry norm of 30% of the roles that you work on, you fill, it does mean that 70% of the time you're working and you'll never ever get paid for that. Now, whatever you do, that's not a good model. We then looked at beliefs and whatever you believe is true, and how for some people having negative beliefs about selling is disempowering them. So they believe that selling is unethical, sleazy, all sorts of negative beliefs. So we looked at that, and we then talked about how you can look at your beliefs and how you can. There's a questionnaire within the Recruitment Marketing Academy where you can access a questionnaire to look at your beliefs. And just to go on to that now, the Academy website is www.recruitmentmarketing.kajabi, no, it's not, sorry, my apologies, www.drewcoaching.com/marketing academy. My apologies. And we talked about how you can get access to a questionnaire to look at your beliefs and how your beliefs may be holding you back. We then talked about the importance of creating a business rather than the job and the difference between the two. And a business is where you have a business whereby regardless of your own personal billings, you've still got a good income. And a job is where you work and you earn money. And there's a massive difference between the two. Here's what we're looking at today. We're going to be looking at today your butt. Yep, your big butt. We're going to look very closely at fear and some of the things that are going on with some of the fears that you may be holding on to. We're going to share with you an actual example of one of our clients who really released some of her fears and some of the great results that she got. We're going to share with you the importance of niching. Sorry, Drew, how do Americans pronounce niching? They don't say niche, they say niche. Niche, yeah, that's it. So we're going to look at that and why that's important. Cold calling. Why size does matter. So there's some of the areas that we're going to cover in this week's podcast. But let's look at the first one, which is your big butt. And the reason I say your big butt, because if I had a pound or a dollar for every time somebody said something like this, yeah, but the information that you're sharing with me, Terry, is great. Yeah, but my market is different and this type of marketing won't work for me. Yeah, but I'm uncomfortable putting my head above the parapet. Yeah, but I'm not going to send anything out until it's absolutely perfect. See, the moment you say, yeah, but, it's just your but getting in the way. And what we've discovered with the real top performers, they acknowledge at times that they don't know things, but they kind of let go of that yeah, but. Because the moment you say yeah, but, all you're going to do is find an excuse. I know I gave a few examples there, Drew. Have you got any examples where people go, yeah, but?
Well, people do it all the time. I think all of us at one level or another, we like to operate in our own comfort zones. So there's always going to be like some resistance to step outside of that. And we've always got, it's just, I guess, disempowering beliefs, reasons why we're not going to try something. Excuses why we're not going to do something. So I think everyone's got it at some level or another, in all areas of their life as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So just be aware of that. When the moment you say yeah, but, you're disempowering yourself. And all yeah, but is, or your big but, is fear. And fear really affects your sales. Make no mistake, what we're covering now, what you're going to get from this is going to take your business to the next level. This stuff that we're about to share with you is quite subtle, but extremely powerful. So I'm going to make some confessions. Both Drew and I have done some things that have frightened us shitless. There is no other way in terms of business. We've done things and we've got it wrong. We've done some really scary stuff and just got it wrong. We've done stuff and it's cost us money. Guess what? Some recruiters and search firm owners have done exactly stuff. And they've just done things that just didn't work. We've all done it. Now, we get advice sometimes, Drew and I, from people, some people whose opinion we trust and value, and sometimes we get opinions from people who well, we didn't ask for their opinion, but they're going to give it to us anyway, and we don't really care for it. Now, you may say that's arrogance. Please don't take this the wrong way. Of course we've been wrong. Of course it's cost us in many ways. The thing is, courage comes from doing things knowing that it could go wrong. I'm not talking about taking crazy risk here. I'm talking about doing things and knowing it could go wrong. Please, please, please don't, if you don't expect to be successful doing stuff and it to work every single time, because life isn't like that. See, it doesn't take courage to do something if you know you cannot fail. There has to be a calculated risk. Now, your friends, your peers, your family will give you some advice. They will tell you that your price has to be at a certain level. In fact, they tell you things like, for you to be successful in this business, you're going to have to be at least the same price as your competitors or cheaper to get business. That is utter bullshit. Some people will tell you that your clients will never, ever pay your retainer. That is absolute bullshit. Some people will tell you that you shouldn't email your potential clients too often, as that will piss some people off. In fact, just recently, Drew and I saw a discussion in the forum. In fact, it's our forum, where there was a report out saying that the more frequently you email your potential clients, the less of a return that you will get if you email too frequently. Again, that is utter bullshit. In fact, I say that we saw that report. Did you see that report that was in our discussion forum, Drew?
I didn't personally see it, no.
Okay.
But again, something I've heard people say like numerous times. And as you said, it's complete bullshit. There's not even actually a way to measure it.
Yeah.
So you just know that it's not based on anything other than someone's opinion and an unqualified opinion at that.
That's right. That's a really good point. And just on that subject, we'll probably go into this in a lot more detail in another podcast that we do. If you think about blue chip organizations and the amount of adverts you might see from Procter & Gamble or Virgin or Coke or whoever, but blue chip organizations that constantly display their ads to you, be it on TV, the radio, billboards and whatever. Now think about it. Those companies are spending an absolute fortune to do that. And in some cases, millions and millions to do just that. And they know that some of it will work and some of it won't work. And one thing that we will share with you is to share what's called high value content with your list via email. Now, just think about that for a minute. You're going to send an email to a potential client that will help position you as an authority in your particular field. Will you piss some people off? Yes, you will. Will you get more business? Yes, you will. Your peers, your friends, and your family to say that you shouldn't really do that. But it doesn't make sense if you think about it logically. If the blue chip organizations will spend millions to get in front of their audience on a regular basis, surely it makes sense for you to be emailing your potential clients on a regular basis. And when I say regular, have you noticed that we email you every day of the week? There's a reason for that. We actually acknowledge that you don't read all our emails, which in my opinion is shocking, but hey, we do realize that happens. Some potential clients will say to us, yeah, we're email, Terry, but we're email, let's say once a month. Let's say, fine, but think about it. You email your list once a month. So in a year, they get 12 emails from you. But your competitor emails out every day and they get 350, 360 emails from your competitor. Who do you think your clients like to remember? So of all the opinions you're going to get, one of them around email marketing, how it doesn't work is one that I suppose at some level, I won't deny it, I find quite frustrating when people give that opinion, but it is just their opinion. Because as Drew said, that they really don't know any better. And you also have to consider this, when you get opinion from people, some of your opinions you will get from your peers, friends and family is because they really do believe what they're saying. But you ought to consider that some of the advice that you're getting from your peers, friends and family, they may not have your best intentions at heart. But think about it. You've gone off and set up your own business, which in itself is full of risk. Now, get this right and the rewards are fantastic. What does that mean to your peers, family and friends? Because quite frankly, your peers, family and friends could have done exactly the same. So if you go off and be successful, but they weren't prepared to take that risk, at some level, it says something about them. Now, they won't do this consciously and sabotage your own success, but they will put that fear and that doubt into your mind. Now, they will say things like, you could be wrong, so don't do it. Here's what top achievers say. I could be wrong, this may not work, and I'm going to do it. Spot the difference. And the thing is that what we know is with sales and marketing, the one of the things that holds so many people back, it is just that fear. But just create that realm of possibility that you would just to say, well, look, I could be wrong. This may not work, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to take that calculated risk because guess what? Taking acceptable risk is the key ingredient for success. If the path to success was easy, then everybody would do it. What you must understand is successful recruitment and search firm is learn from the mistake. That's a fact. Now, as I said right at the very beginning, Drew and I have made some massive mistakes that have cost us thousands, in some cases hundreds of thousands of pounds because some of the mistakes that we've made. But we've learned from them. Wouldn't that be fair to say, Drew?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. And guess what? We're learning all the time. Now, I talked about the impact of the fear that some people have around email marketing to examples. One of our clients, Natalie Gardner, and she's from Pangea Global Associates. Now, she's just embarked on an email campaign where she shares her ups and downs in her personal life with about 2,000 potential clients within the software industry worldwide. Now, her stories in her emails are funny, and she did have a point to the stories and how that could affect hiring managers within the software industry. And she's emailing them every other day. Now, she's only just embarked on this, but here's some interesting numbers for you. I think she started this about 12 days ago. To date, 3 potential clients have complained about emails. One said that emails were tacky and unprofessional. One said there was a typo in an email, and anybody that sends out an email with a typo, they were never going to do business with her. However, 23 potential clients have complimented her and asked to have a telephone meeting with her. Natalie will be the first to admit that she was reluctant and quite frankly frightened about embarking on this email campaign. But boy, is she glad that she did now. But just for a moment, imagine that you had 23 telephone meetings with decision makers in your sector over the next 10 days. how much of that business would you expect to win? What would that be worth to you financially? There's a very famous baseball coach who, unfortunately, whose name I can't remember, but his quote was, you will miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So whatever you do, acknowledge the fear that's holding you back and say, do you know what? I get what's going on here, and take that calculated risk. So that's fear. Next one is niche or niche. Niche. But there's a saying for the really successful recruiters: the narrower your niche, the broader your appeal. If you were to ask any recruitment or search firm owner, who's your ideal client, if your answer is everyone, then you kind of need to look at that. Because the recruitment and search firm owners who try to be all things to all people will have significantly higher marketing and client acquisition costs because they can never really establish themselves with a particular niche market. I want to be clear here. As a recruitment or search firm owner, you can have more than one niche. But whatever you do, don't try and be all things to all people. And we've met, Drew, haven't we? Many a recruiter who's tried to be all things to all people.
Yeah, as well. It's a mistake we made in our own business as well, I think it's fair to say. Obviously, we've always targeted recruiters, but even within sort of the recruiting industry, there's people who now we're more targeted with about who we want to serve and who we're meant to serve.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and thanks for pointing that out. We made some massive mistakes when we first entered this market many years ago, and tried to be all things and offer all sorts of things to anybody within the industry, but we're very specific now about what we do. So let's say, as an example, you're in fact we'll stay with Natalie, and she recruits within IT software on an international basis. Now she's positioned herself as the expert in that particular market. She's positioned herself as the go-to search firm in that particular market. It makes it so much easier when you become the go-to, or what we call the key KPI, key person of influence in a particular market. Now, for many recruitment and search firms, they take what we call the shotgun approach to getting business. And they really go after anybody, any prospect that has a pulse. As I said, they try to be all things to all people. And you've got to be really specific and have a well-defined niche, because, to repeat, the narrower your niche, the broader your appeal. The narrower your niche, the more effective your marketing comes, the more effective your sales comes as well, because you position yourself as the expert in that particular niche, and your clients have more respect for you and value you more. Also, what we found is those search firms in particular that have well-defined niche markets that they operate in, getting retainers is a lot easier. It's a bit like if you go to the doctor and the doctor says you need to see a specialist. We tend to value somebody who positions themselves as a specialist in a particular area. So the narrower your niche and the broader your appeal. So that's why you should have a niche. And in terms of how to create your niche, is just find an area that what we call your sweet spot. You talk to any recruitment or search firm owner and you say, what's your sweet spot in terms of the ideal client? You may struggle initially to come up with that, but if you look very closely at your previous assignments that you've worked on, you'll see that there's a kind of sweet spot where at a certain salary, in a certain range, and a certain location, that's your sweet spot. You can kind of do that with your eyes closed. That's the area that should become your niche. Have I missed anything out, Drew, in terms of niching?
I wouldn't say necessarily missed anything out. I think it's a subject we could actually do a whole separate podcast on and speak for hours on. So again, maybe we should just revisit it in a separate podcast and go into a bit more detail.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, because there is so much on there. But again, if you go to the Recruitment Marketing Academy, you can get a document there to help you create your niche market. Now, anybody that's known me for a long time, known Drew and I for a long time, that know there's one thing that we constantly tell you to do, and that's this: never, ever, 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 ever cold call any of your clients, under no circumstances whatsoever. Why? Well, there are so many reasons, but here are just a few. I'm yet to meet a hiring manager that says something like this: oh, I really like getting cold called by recruiters. It doesn't happen. And I don't know if you know this, but the average hiring manager gets between, I think it's 6 and 12 cold calls a day, every single day. Just think about that for a minute. Every single day. Now, they don't take most of those calls, but they're being literally pestered by recruiters who all, by the way, say very much the same thing as well. And here's another thing as well. Very few recruiters or search firms actually enjoy making the cold calls. Now, think about this. The hiring manager doesn't enjoy getting them. The recruiter doesn't enjoy making them. Those same recruiters or search consultants, they don't, when they're at home, sitting at home with a family, and they get the cold call from whoever selling whatever, they don't think, oh yes, I've really enjoyed that. None of us enjoy it, and I'd say to you, don't do it. Now, I get, as you're listening to this, the old time recruiters will say to you, cold calling is the only way to get business. So let me clear this up once and for all. That is complete and utter BS. There are numerous ways, over 100 ways, that you as a search firm or recruiter can get business. Sadly, for most recruitment or search firms, they're using 3, 4 methods of getting business. Here are the typical methods: word of mouth, networking, cold calling, and one that we call hope marketing, where you kind of hope that somebody's going to give you a call and you're going to get business. That one doesn't work too well, as you're probably you're well aware. Numerous studies have been done on the effects of cold calling and how it positions you within the market and with your clients. And one of the overall findings is that when you cold call, you're seen as an unwelcome pest. And ideally, as a recruitment or search firm owner, you want to be the welcome guest. So whatever you do, please don't cold call. You don't like it, your clients don't like it, and it just puts you literally on the back foot. And you can use something called permission marketing. Again, if you go to the academy, you can get all the information on this. But by using things such as email marketing on your website or whatever, you simply get those clients who have some interest in what you're offering to raise their hand and come back to you. And that works so much more than cold calling. And just to let you know, none of our elite clients, none of our clients would use cold calling to get business, but yet their business is growing year on year, and they don't cold call. What's your opinion of cold calling, Drew? How do you feel, Drew, when you get a cold call, rather? That's a better question.
So how do I feel when I get a cold call? Well, yeah, I guess 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't take them and you sort of put the phone down.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, like, again, just to be clear, we're not saying that it doesn't work, because it definitely does. They're easier ways to do things. There are easier and better ways to do things. So it's just because of that, it's just a waste of your time. And it's hard work. Yeah,
it's a good point there. Waste of time and bloody hard work, in fact. So. And also, just repeat, just how it positions you in the eyes of your potential clients when you cold call. So never, ever, ever, ever cold call. And if you do, you put yourself on the back foot. Next area I want to cover is size does matter. I want to share a story about Mark Zuckerberg, who's the founder of Facebook. And he created this crude version of what's we all know now as Facebook. It was a universal website that could be used by students to connect with each other around Harvard University. And he told some of his friends about it and what he'd come up with. And a few of them said, look, why don't you promote this to potential students by just sending out an email? And within 24 hours, he had his first 1,000 registered users. And it really kickstarted his business that's worth over 200 billion as we speak today. But here's the thing. Here's the 4 reasons why your clients will never, ever buy from you. They don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you, or they have no need for what you do. But once you've got a list, and I'm talking about a list of potential clients, and you can communicate with them on a regular basis, help position yourself as an authority, be it with emails, be it with videos, be it with letters, be it with webinars. There's so many things you can do. But the larger your list, of course, the better the response you're going to get. The larger your list, the more potential clients will respond to it. So what you do need is a substantial list. Now, many times we talk to search firm owners and we say, do you have a list of potential clients? And they say, yes, we do. I have a list of 200 or 300. That is not enough. At any one time in your market, it's estimated approximately 3 to 10% of your market is what's called now buyers. They're ready to buy right now. But that 3 to 10% undoubtedly will have a relationship with somebody else. So if you've got a list of, let's say, 200, and let's say 10% of that market are now buyers, that means there's 20 people right now that are ready to buy in the next 60 days and to engage a search firm in the next 60 days. But they already have a relationship with somebody else. So you're kind of reducing your chances of getting some business. But imagine for a second that you had a list of 2,000 potential clients. And imagine for a second that you were to send them an email, not talking about how great you are, but about offering to solve some of their problems. So you send them an email saying something like this. If you're thinking of using a search firm, you really ought to get this report, or a recruitment firm. 7 questions you must ask a recruitment or search firm before you engage them. Simply go here to get your free report. Now, let's be really pessimistic and say that you only got a 1% response. There's 20 leads. Now, could you convert 20 leads into 1 retained assignment? But the point I'm making is it's dependent on the size of your list. The size of your list does matter. And there's many ways that you can grow this. I won't go into it now, but it is one of the keys to your success is having a good sized list of potential clients in your particular niche market who could give you some business. In fact, we're kind of touching it, Drew. In your opinion, if somebody said to you, what's the best ways of growing a list of potential clients, what advice would you give them?
If they said, sorry, say that again.
If they wanted to grow their list in a particular niche market.
Yeah, well, sorry, the whole question.
Sorry. If somebody said they wanted to grow their list in a particular niche market, what advice would you give them?
Well, yeah, just to do it. Like it's. Sorry, well, I'm not sure I get what you mean.
Any particular way that they could do it? And grow their list?
Well, there's literally endless ways. I think, again, without going into it into too much detail, you need an irresistible offer. Something that's so an ebook or a free video or something that you're willing to give away for free, in exchange for the contact details of your potential client. And then you need to have some way of capturing their details. So if you're going to do it online, then a squeeze page, then you need to drive traffic to that squeeze page. And there's, again, sort of dozens of ways you can do that. But yeah, again, it's almost too much detail to go into just in one to answer one question with that. But there's endless ways you can do it.
Yeah, fair point. So great. So that's it for this week's podcast. So just to recap, we looked at fear and how fear is probably holding you back. We looked at the but my business is different and all the negative conversation that you have with yourself, again, that holds you back. We looked at the importance of having a well-defined niche and why you should have a niche and how to have a niche. We shared with you why you should never, ever cold call and pester clients and why you shouldn't be a pest but become a welcome guest. We shared with you why size does matter and having a good sized list that you can market to will make a dramatic difference to your business. In next week's podcast, you're going to discover how top recruitment firms are getting leads from social media and how you can too. We're going to share with you people who do it on the first date and why that's not necessarily a good idea. We're going to share with you, again, we're going into a bit more detail around email marketing and share some of the successes of recruiters that are using email marketing to excellent effect. This is Terry Edwards and Drew Edwards. I want to thank you for joining us today. Drew, thank you very much indeed for your input. That was really appreciated.
Okay.
And we will share even more with you next week. Until next time, take care, take action, and be relentless.
You're listening to the Renegade